If you're anything like me as an author, marketing is a foreign concept. Well, Evan has put together something that is going to make all of our lives much easier. Stay tuned, coming up next. Welcome, everyone. My name is April Cox, for those of you that don't know me. Self-Publishing Made Simple is a YouTube channel. It is a mindset for me and my students that I help through the self-publishing process. We take people from completing their manuscript all the way through to publishing their book. And these author events and other services that I provide are really my opportunity to give back to the author community. And I'm really excited today, this continuation of our marketing series. We have Evan Go with us today. He is the indie developer of Story Origin, which is a marketing tool we're going to hear more about. If you're anything like me, then marketing is not your primary hat that you like to wear. It's a stretch for me to do more with marketing. And so as an author, I'm always looking for ways to make things easier. So when I found out about everything that Evan was doing and I saw him on another interview and I dug into the tool, I was really excited to bring this information to you. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming Evan Go. Welcome, Evan.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit more about your background and how you got started with the tool and the things that you're going to talk to us more about today.
Yeah. So originally I used to write short stories back in high school and then got interested in tech and entrepreneurship in college, went to work for a few years, and then I realized, if I want to build something, do something, now's the time to do it. So I wanted to get back into writing and then also build tools for writers at the same time. So I went and I talked to a few authors and learned, okay, so I use this tool for like delivering my freebie, my reader magnet, when people sign up to my mailing list. I use this other service for finding reviewers. I use a different service for creating universal book links. I use some combination of Facebook groups and Google Forms to arrange newsletter swaps. Then I've got Excel spreadsheets for my audiobook promo codes and for tracking my word count. And I was like, okay. So you have like 5 different logins, like 8 different spreadsheets. There's got to be an easier way to do this. So I want to build like a one-stop shop that does all of this for you. And so I started building Story Origin and quickly did not have time. Story Origin took over 100% of my time. So I didn't have time to get back into writing the way that I wanted to. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun building Story Origin, helping authors out with building their mailing list, finding reviewers, increasing sales, managing their deadlines, all of that.
I love it. And you know what? It speaks my language. Whenever somebody is able to simplify something that is already way convoluted and way too difficult to maneuver, then I am all in. So you're saying that Story Origin has everything that an author needs in one place. And I was reviewing the tool and going through the copy that you had given me. It's got review copies. You can do things with reader magnets, get more reviews for your book. So can you tell me a little bit about that part of it? Because reviews are things that we as authors have such a hard time. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth to try to get more reviews. And especially if you're just launching a book, it's really critical. So how does Story Origin help us with getting more reviews?
So there is a review copies feature. You can put your book up on Story Origin pre-publication or post-publication. So you can get reviews ahead of your launch, or even after you've launched your book, you're still trying to get more reviews, you can still use the review copies feature. And what you do is you put it up there, then readers can request that review copy from you. So when they request that review copy from you, they say where they're intending to leave a review, whether that's Amazon, Goodreads, BookBub, etc. And then you get that request as an author and you can see where they're intending to leave a review. You can check out the reviewer stats. So if they've been approved for 10 review copies on Story Origin before, they've completed the process for 9 of them. You can see that. And so you can be relatively sure that, hey, if I approve this person to download my book, they're actually going to leave a review. And like, let's say you're putting up a review copy for book 3 in your series, and you've also done review copies for book 1 and 2 through Story Origin. Story Origin will show you when you're looking at that reviewer's profile, before approving them for book 3, you can see, okay, did they actually complete the process for books 1 and 2? So it sort of helps you manage all that stuff, which would be really complicated to do with like a bunch of spreadsheets and tracking across various books and all that stuff. And then StoryOrigin does stuff like automatically send follow-up reminders to people if they haven't left reviews within 2 weeks after having been able to do so, etc. So that's how the review copies feature works. In terms of how do you use that feature in order to find reviewers, there's a few different ways. So first, StoryOrigin is a marketing tool, but is also a community of authors that are working together to build their mailing list, find reviewers, increase sales, etc. So you can participate in cross promotions with that review copy. There are 2 types of cross promotion. There are newsletter swaps, which are direct one-to-one cross promotion. You've got a mailing list of 1,000 people. I've got a mailing list of 1,000 people. I'll agree to mention one of your books in one of my upcoming newsletters if you agree to mention one of my books in one of your upcoming newsletters. So those newsletter swaps can be for all different types of books. They can be for your reader magnet, or they could be for your universal book link or your review copy, etc. So if you're trying to find reviewers, one of the best things that you can do is request newsletter swaps with other authors where they would be promoting the landing page for your review copy.
Okay.
The other thing that you can do is set up a group promotion, which is you, me, and 20 other authors all list our books on a single landing page, and we all drive our traffic to that landing page. And so we all are trying to find reviewers together.
I love that. That escaped me when I was doing the testing within the platform. I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah. So StoryOrigin has those group promos where, it's you, me, and 20 other authors, and we're all promoting our books together on a single landing page. Those group promos, just like you can do for newsletter swaps, where they would be for your review copy or universal book links or reader magnets, etc. Those group promos can also have specific goals in mind. So it might be a giveaway where everyone's trying to build their mailing list. It might be for getting reviews where everyone's listing their review copies, etc. So participating in those review copy group promos is another great way to also find reviewers. The other thing is StoryOrigin also has a directory of review copies where you can choose to list your review copy. So you don't have to do this. This is totally optional. If you like to keep your review team sort of private and only send the link to people that you really want to see it, you can do it that way. But you can also add your review copies to that public directory on StoryOrigin, and you still get all of those features around people applying, and you get to vet them, and then you just approve who you want. When you put your review copy in that public directory on StoryOrigin, you still are totally in control of who actually gets to be on your review team. So that's another great place to put it. And then lastly is I always recommend sending out the link to that review copy to your own mailing list. And so StoryOrigin also has a bunch of helpful features for helping you build your mailing list as well.
So you're able to use the platform to house things. Now, it's not just books, right? I could do also audio promo codes. If I have an audiobook, I could do other things besides just, giving away a review copy of the book. But there are other kind of reader magnets as well as part of building the mailing list. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So the review copies feature is focused on finding people that would want to be reviewers for your book and getting that book for free. The reader magnet feature is used where essentially you would create a landing page for a free book or story that people get when they subscribe to your mailing list. And StoryOrigin will create a landing page where readers can request that copy. They would put in their contact information. That contact information will be zipped right over to your email service provider if you're using an integration between StoryOrigin and your email service provider. StoryOrigin integrates with 9 different email service providers to automatically send the contact info there. Otherwise, you can always just download the list of signups you get as a CSV. And so, you get that landing page, and then readers would request the copy, and then StoryOrigin provides them all the download instructions and support in helping them get that book onto whatever their preferred reading device is.
The other thing that I saw too is that there's a direct downloads link that we could use. Like there are some times when I've got people that I'm working with, or I want to provide a direct download link where they can go and just download the information that they've already signed up for elsewhere. So there's an option to be able to do that instead of only tying it to some landing page within Story Origin. So you can do it with or without, which I really thought was really a great choice for flexibility. Tell us more also about the universal retail links, because I know one of the challenges that I've had is just, where do you send people? Do you give them your Amazon link? And there's other tools that will help you build some of this information, but it's not incorporated with everything like you're doing right now.
Right. Yeah. So universal book links are essentially a way to list where your book is available for purchase. And so you would list the retailers, Amazon, Goodreads, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, etc. And then Story Origin also does a couple other things besides just, having a place to list those stores. So when a reader clicks on, let's say, Amazon actually has a bunch of different marketplaces for different countries. So in the US, if someone clicks on Amazon, it will take them to the amazon.com domain for that book. If they are in the UK, it will take them to amazon.co.uk for that book. If they're in Australia, it'll take them to .com.au, etc. So Story Origin localizes that link to whatever country that reader is in. The other thing is that readers can also set a preferred bookstore. So if the first time that a reader clicks on a universal book link and they select their retailer, they can choose that retailer as their preferred bookstore. And so if a reader says, yeah, Amazon is my preferred bookstore, anytime they click on a universal book link from Story Origin in the future, they'll be automatically redirected straight over to Amazon. They won't even see the Story Origin landing page, which is really great because you want to make it as seamless as possible for readers to get the book and buy it. So making it just one click for all of your readers after they've set their preferred store is really valuable. And Story Origin has different features for universal book links and universal audiobook links. And the reason that is like that is so you can create a universal book link for your book and then a universal audiobook link for your audiobook. And what that allows the reader to do is set different preferred stores for their books versus audiobooks. So I might prefer to buy my book via Barnes and Noble or Apple or something else, right? And then I might have a different platform where I like to buy my audiobook. So Audible or Scribd or something else like that. And so Story Origin keeps those separate. And the other thing that allows you to do is when you're participating in cross promotions like newsletter swaps or group promos, you can use those links to target what kind of sales you're wanting to try to drive. So do I have a discount running on my audiobook or something? Well, then I'm going to try to join group promos that are specifically for increasing audiobook sales, or I might arrange newsletter swaps where I'm pointing that link directly to my audiobook version of that universal retail link.
What I'd like to focus a little bit on is mailing list, right? Why is having a mailing list so important? And I'll have to tell you, your training and some of the information that you provide there is really great. And one of the things that it mentions there is that social media, Facebook, Twitter, others, only reaches about 2 to 3% of your followers, unless you're paying to boost a post or things like that. Advertising is becoming more expensive, like Facebook and Amazon ads, even, other things, Pinterest, TikTok, right? We're all experimenting with ad platforms, but that's really expensive. And review rates are really low across all of the various retailers. So by having and building our own email list, this is what's going to get us to the next level. And so I love the idea that the tool itself gives us an opportunity to integrate our mailing list. Like I really had like a few clicks to just have it go into my MailerLite mailing list. So when people go to the landing page, they request something, it's going right into my mailing list. I don't have to do anything with that. That's fantastic. And that's what you said, one of 7 or 8 that you integrate with as well.
Yeah, 9 different email
9 different ones. Actually. Okay. Not only can I build my own email list, but I can partner with other people to do some sort of cross promotion. Can you kind of talk a little bit about how does that work? If I say, gee, I would love to do a cross promotion, am I creating one and then inviting other people to it? Are other people creating things and then I can sign up to those? How does that work? And what are some of the best practices that you've seen with others using the tool to do promoting?
So works both ways you mentioned. So you can either create your own cross promotions for people to apply to, or you can just request cross promotions that other authors have set up. So as mentioned previously, there are two types of cross promotion. There are newsletter swaps, where that's a one-to-one cross promotion. I'll mention your book in one of my newsletters. You mentioned one of my books in one of your newsletters. One of the things that authors get confused about, because the industry has standardized around this term newsletter swap, but it's kind of a confusing term because some authors that are starting out sometimes think that this means, oh, I need to be sharing my subscriber list with another author. I'm not going to do that. That's not how it works. You're not sharing your subscriber list or anything like that with another author. Do not do that. You would be violating some data regulations. All you're doing is you're agreeing to mention that author's book in your newsletter. So you're just essentially putting the link to their book in your newsletter. It's that simple. That's why cross promotions in general are growing really quickly compared to doing other forms of marketing, because number one, cross promotion is free. If you and I want to do newsletter swap and you mention my book and I mention your book, we don't need to pay anybody. We're just helping each other out. The second thing is that it is also easy to do. All I need to do is drop the link to your book into one of my newsletters. I don't need to figure out some complicated ads dashboard and targeting and bidding strategies. All that stuff gets really complicated really fast. And, again, newsletter swap or group promo, I'm just dropping the link into my newsletter. And lastly, it's targeted by genre, right? So I can just go, when I am searching through cross promotions on StoryOrigin, look for other authors that are in my genre and apply to do cross promotions with them. And so when someone else sends out my link to my book in their newsletter, I know that it's going to an audience that is actually interested in that book because I know the other books that author writes. The other thing when it comes to doing stuff like newsletter swaps or group promos that a lot of authors who are just starting out get a little bit wary of is they think, oh, do I need to have read every single one of these books before I ever mention it in my newsletter? The way that I kind of think about it is like Amazon's also bought section, right? So when you go to a books page on Amazon, you can scroll down and you'll see, customers that bought this also bought this. And Amazon isn't saying, hey, me, Mr. Bezos, I've read these books and I'm recommending them to you. Amazon is just saying, hey, if this is a book that interests you, here are other books that are like it that might be worth checking out. So that's sort of the framing that I recommend to authors when they're participating in cross promotions is in your newsletter, you can frame it as, here's other books that you might want to check out. You're not necessarily recommending them. You're more just mentioning these are things that might be of interest to your audience. And it's a great way to keep your open rate and your click rate up on your newsletter because you become that source of new things to check out for your audience. So the way that works on StoryOrigin is you can essentially go to a list of either upcoming dates of group promos that authors have organized or the upcoming dates that authors have their newsletters being sent out. And you would just go there, say what date you're sending out your newsletter and request to join or arrange a newsletter swap with that other author. And all you really need to do is say what book you want to be promoted and what date you're sending out your newsletter.
So with these types of promotions that you're doing, cross-promoting with other authors, are you driving them to a landing page? Are you sending them to a sales page on Amazon or any of those?
So it goes back to those landing pages that you would set up on StoryOrigin. So if I arrange a newsletter swap with you and I am trying to promote my reader magnet and you agree to mention that reader magnet in your newsletter, well, that link would then take them to the landing page for that reader magnet on StoryOrigin. If I am trying to boost my sales, I will request that you drop the link to my universal book link in your newsletter. And then there, the readers would click on that link and it would take them to the landing page on StoryOrigin where the various retailers that your book is sold at is available. And then they would click on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, etc. Again, many readers already have a preferred store set up on StoryOrigin. So if I'm promoting my universal book link and you're dropping that universal book link in your newsletter, a lot of readers will click on that link and it'll take them just automatically to whatever their preferred retailer is. So it would just take them to Amazon or Kobo.
So whatever my goal is, whether that's increasing sales and sending them directly to my sales page, or increasing, maybe building more for my mailing list, then I can do either one of those things. And whatever goals I'm targeting with that particular campaign, that's how it works.
Yeah, it just whatever you're looking to do. So it's, build your mailing list, apply to cross promotions with your reader magnet. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to find reviewers, apply to cross promotions with your review copy. If you're trying to increase your sales, apply to cross promotions with your universal book link.
So you've talked a little bit, or you've touched a couple of times on how StoryOrigin can help you increase sales. Do you mind expanding on that a little bit? Like, what are the things we just talked about? One way where you can, be sending people to your sales page. And these are people that are not already on your list. You're brand new readers. You're kind of cross promoting with. What are some of the other things that can help with improving sales using StoryOrigin?
That is the main way that you would increase your sales with StoryOrigin, is by doing newsletter swaps or participating in group promos with that universal book link, because that is where you are all cross-promoting your retail landing pages.
Okay.
You could, of course, always use those universal book links in your own newsletter, to direct people to when you have a new release. Here's the universal book link to check it out at whatever retailers it's at. You can use StoryOrigin in order to build that mailing list and find that fan base, that audience. And then you would let them know on release date, here's the universal book link for it. So you can go grab it at whatever your preferred retailer is.
One of the other things I thought was really cool, Evan, and I thought it was cool because I'm in need of this right now. I'm trying to focus on finishing my book, Self-Publishing Made Simple, which is just teaches people self-publishing and just documents everything that I've been teaching in my courses into a book format. And keeping on track and making sure that I'm meeting my writing goals has been a little bit of a challenge for me. So I saw that there was a word count tracker. You can track how many words you want to complete in a certain period or how many chapters. So how did you come up with that idea to kind of add that in? Was there a big request for that? And what am I missing? How else can you use this word count tracking and goal monitoring here in StoryOrigin?
Yeah, so the feature is called Goal Trackers. A lot of authors will use it to track their word counts. And just like you said, what essentially you would do is you would set a specific target. Like, I want to hit 50,000 words by the end of next month or something like that. And StoryOrigin will automatically calculate for you, here's how many words you need to write every single day in order to hit that target. And every day it is just automatically recalculated. So I will actually go ahead and show you how this works. I will go to my own author dashboard. I will go to my goal trackers. You can see actually on my dashboard here, this is my last goal tracker that I've used. So I'll go ahead and go straight to it. So I set my, 50,000 word goal. I'm 35% completed and I have a target of hitting 1,800 words per day. So if I want to log my progress for day, I would just go in and let's do something crazy. Let's say I hit 10,000 words today. So we can see a big jump in the current goal. So I went from 1,800 to now I only need to write 1,300 words per day in order to hit that goal. And I can see, how my progress has changed over time and what I need to hit every day in order to get up to that 50,000 ultimately.
That's an awesome opportunity for us, for me anyway, to keep track of, because I want to release the book by a certain day and I need to back into that with additional editing and beta readers. But if I don't get moving on getting the word count up there, then it's going to be an extra year before I get it out. And I don't want that.
Exactly. I mean, no one was really asking me for this feature per se, right? A lot of authors think of StoryOrigin as, oh, here's a tool to help me build my mailing list. And then I added that goal trackers feature. And since then, I've heard a lot of authors say, I never really tracked my word count before, but I saw it was there. I decided to try it out just because I love Story Origin and I like the other features. So this one might be good as well. And they decided to start tracking their word count. And then they're like, their mind is blown because they're like, this actually completely changed my writing game for me. Like
Right.
I started hitting my targets earlier than I expected. I knew where I was in my writing process, whether or not I was going to hit that deadline. And it really helped motivate me because seeing my daily word count goal change and creep up if I haven't done my words for the day, oh, my goal just got a little bit harder. They've really seen it dramatically improve their motivation. I mean, for me, the reason I built it there is like, I knew it was something that authors did was tracking their word count goals. This was another spreadsheet I could help you kill.
Right. Put it all in one place. I love it. Since you opened up and you're showing us little bits of it, would you mind hitting on some of the other, show us like the interface and some of the different things that are out there that we just discussed? So here on the left side, you've got all of the different things that we had talked about. Would you mind just touching on some of the functionality so we could see how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we've talked about, you can set up your different landing pages, which provide you with different functionality. So, your reader magnets is for building your mailing list, your universal book links for sending people to retail pages, review copies, beta copies. We haven't really touched on that one, but that's an awesome new feature that authors have been really enjoying lately. Direct downloads, if you've got people that are joining your mailing list and coming like through your website instead of through Story Origin, you just want to provide them the download, distributing those audiobook promo codes, or sending people to your audiobook retail pages. So those are the sort of landing pages with those various goals in mind. And then you've got, in terms of promotions, you've got your group promos that you've created or joined and your newsletter swaps. So if I actually want to go and quest a newsletter swap with another author, the way it works is I would just go to this newsletter swaps. And I can see here the dates that other authors are sending their newsletters. I can see their list size, open rate, click rate, what tags they use on their newsletter. So, fantasy, sci-fi, romance, etc. And they can be combined in different ways. So, for example, like here's a clean romance, right? Like I would know that this author is a clean author. And so, yeah, essentially what I would do there is I would go to that page. I'd hit exchange book mention. I'd say which book I would promote of theirs, which book I want them to promote of mine, what newsletter I'm going to put their book in, and what date I'm going to send that newsletter out. And then on the other side, I could go to browsing group promos. Again, these are the cross promotions where multiple authors are listing their books on a single landing page, and then we all promote that landing page together. So I could go to a giveaway group promo. The giveaway group promos are where authors are listing their reader magnet. So we would all promote that together and we would all build our mailing list together.
And there's a preview. We can look at it. Oh, this is awesome. So this is like what it might look like if you put something together with multiple books on it. I love it. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. So all of the authors that are on this page have all applied to join this group promotion, and they will all promote that landing page together. And so what I would do as an author, if I'm a part of this group promotion, is I would probably take this banner image that the organizer created, and I would drop that in my newsletter. And then I would embed the link to this group promo in my newsletter. So that's how the group promos and newsletter swaps work. Again, it's really easy. It's essentially just a matter of, requesting it, saying what book you want promoted and what date you're sending your newsletter out. And the other thing is, if you're sitting here frantically saying, I have way too many notes to take here, the great thing is on Story Origin, I try to make it really, really easy for people that are just getting started. So if you go here and you just click on your dashboard homepage, build mailing list, Story Origin will give you all of the steps that you need to take in order to start building that mailing list, tell you exactly what you should be doing. And then the other side of things is you can always go to the tutorials tab on Story Origin as well. You'll find really in-depth guides there. Like you were mentioning the guide on building your mailing list. So you can find a really in-depth guide on building your mailing list, case studies, video tutorials on how each individual feature works, etc.
I really love how easy it is to come up to speed, even though there's a lot here, just focusing on one thing at a time. And the way that you've got the training organized, the videos and the explanations, is really simple to work with. So I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of, I am the indie developer of Story Origin. So what does that mean? That means that I am the customer support, I am the engineering department, I am the marketing team, etc. So if, I get emails from a bunch of authors saying, how do I do this? Or I found this confusing. There's no communication overhead between the customer support department and the engineering department. If I get too many emails about something, I go and I change it. Right. I make it easier to use because ultimately, I love spending my time programming. And so that's what I want to do more of. So if I can make things easier for authors to do, it just, provides me more time to focus on that engineering side if I can build all that ease of use straight into the product. So another thing to mention, along with that, is when you go to each individual feature on Story Origin, you'll find an explainer of how that feature works, a link to the video tutorial, a link to a text guide, if you'd prefer that is really in depth. And then you can also look at what are the various features with that and some example use cases for how to use that feature as well. So all of that, everything that you need is sort of co-located with the features. There's no separate, support docs website where you have to search through a bunch of questions to find the question that's relevant to you. You just go to the feature that you want to use, and all of the info that you need along with that is right there.
I love it. I think you did a great job with that. Taryn is asking if you can comment on the cost of membership, access or download, or however that works here. You've got a basic, a standard, and a guided setup plan. Could you just take us through that?
Yeah, so there's a basic plan, which is free for everybody. That comes with the direct downloads feature, those universal retail links, and goal trackers. All of those things are really valuable in what I like to call single player mode, where you're bringing your own audience to the table. But if you want to build your mailing list, find reviewers, do beta copies, do newsletter swaps, group promos, all that stuff where you're really multiplying your reach and streamlining a lot of your processes, then you would want to go with the standard plan, which is $10 per month or $100 per year. So super affordable.
Yeah. So other people probably listening to everything that you were telling about and thinking, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money. But you can just get in and start using Story Origin at no cost and test it out, or put $10 a month and get the plan that allows you to then take it further, do your cross promotions and do other things. I love that how many tools we eliminated just in the way that you've put everything together. Most of those tools are going to cost me a heck of a lot more than the $10 a month that we were getting on the standard plan, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, going back to my earlier story of authors saying, I need this for delivering my reader mag, I need something else for finding reviewers. I got, set up my universal book links and writing newsletters, all that stuff. I got to hire a VA to manage all those processes because they're so complicated if I'm trying to do all that stuff on my own. Story Origin makes it really, really cost effective for you. Also, again, another thing, we haven't talked about beta copies at all, but that could be a platform entirely unto itself. Yeah, so it's all in one place for a really affordable price. And a lot of authors tell me that it is underpriced given just how much it does. But the thing is, I want it to be really affordable for those authors that are just starting out who, they might not have a book published. They're planning to publish one in a couple of months or something like that. And they're just at the beginning of trying to build their audience and trying to figure out how they're going to market their books. And I want Story Origin to be affordable to authors at that level as well.
Yeah, the other benefit of having this really affordable offering is that a lot more people are going to be jumping in and trying things out and being available to work with us and do cross promotions and things like that. So you're building this really very inclusive, easy to join in, inexpensive to get a community that grows, I think, very quickly as you get the word out about what's available here. Are you integrated with Wix for mailing lists? A lot of my children's book authors do use Wix as a simple and easy website.
Yeah, so Story Origin is not currently integrated with Wix. You can find the 9 different email service providers that Story Origin integrates with just if you scroll down the homepage. Alternatively, if you log into your author dashboard, you can go when you create a new integration, you can see all of the different email service providers there. Adding more email service providers is always on my to-do list, but it's a very long to-do list that I have. So I don't ever have any sort of guarantees on when more integrations might be added.
So for people that are using Wix and they monthly want to go in there and get their new subscribers, they would just extract them and then go in and upload them to their Wix site.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I would just go over to my author dashboard, go over to my subscribers, and I can download this as a CSV file and just automatically, put all that onto my mailing list, whatever email service provider you're using. So regardless of whether you're using Wix or anything else, it's fairly straightforward.
Just when Evan was showing the templates for the promos with the books and the different books that are added to that, is there sort of a template for that, or you create that in, outside and then you just upload it to this platform?
You would create that outside of StoryOrigin and then just upload it to StoryOrigin. So you can use Canva or BookBrush. It has a really great custom creator. If you go to BookBrush, you can also just select StoryOrigin. It'll automatically size the canvas to the dimensions that you need on StoryOrigin. And they've got a lot of tools that make that process really easy. And the custom creator, I think, is free actually. So it's a great place to get started. Honestly, you can also just use PowerPoint if you want. Drop an image in there, put some text overlay on it, and export that picture out of your PowerPoint file.
So you're talking about like on that
the banner
list,
image,
that promo, it's just the top one, right? You're talking about the list on the top, but then the rest of it, anybody who wants to be part of that promo and is signing up, do those just appear because they've signed up to be included on it and then they've uploaded their own images? Or does the individual who's creating this promo have to then also assemble something with all of their images and links as well?
No. So the group promo organizers only needs to create that banner image for their group promo.
Oh, that's all they need to get it started.
That's all they need to do. I mean, the landing page where readers come and see all of the books that are in that group promo is automatically generated by StoryOrigin. You don't need to do anything for that. So I'll just go back here real quick. And you'll actually see, so if I go here, I can see the books listed. And if I refresh the page, you'll see new books are listed at the top. And essentially the way that it works is every time a reader visits that page or every time that page is refreshed, the books that are in that group promo are automatically resorted. So every author participating in the group promo has a fair chance of their book showing up at the top of the page.
And then you also had on the list, one of the plans said guided setup. So tell us about that, because one of the other questions I'm seeing here from Kerry is, how do I get tech help if needed? So it sounds like you have that additional hands-on help if someone needs that to sign up for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you need tech help, just shoot me an email. That's totally free. I answer all of my emails. My inbox is totally open. Shoot me an email anytime. If you want help setting up your account and figuring out how to create all of the landing pages and all of that stuff, you can email me and we can set up a time where I will walk you through individually how to do all of that stuff. Usually people who reach out to me for that, I will first point them to, here's the list of tutorials where it's all totally free. And, if you're looking to get started, here's what I recommend. And most of the time I won't hear back from authors because they go, oh, this is free. It's actually quite simple. And it will probably take me less time to go through this than to have someone sort of walk me through it manually too. So a lot of authors will just go ahead and get started there. But yeah, no, I'm always open to setting up sort of individual sessions with authors. And that's just dependent upon how much time that they want and that kind of thing.
Anna said she always thought StoryOrigin is for authors writing adult books rather than children's authors. Are there children's authors in there to find reviewers and newsletters and swaps and group promos, etc.?
Yeah, so StoryOrigin is genre agnostic. Some genres, tend to be a lot bigger than others. And so you'll find more cross promos in those genres just because there are more authors in those genres. But StoryOrigin as a tool is totally genre agnostic. I'll sort of make this advice more broadly. If you're wondering whether or not StoryOrigin has other authors in your genre to cross promote with, the best way to find that information is actually to just go and look for it yourself. So you can get on StoryOrigin, create an account for free, and then you can just go to the tags in it. You can go to, let's say I want to look for children's. So I can find here's all the authors that are sending out newsletters, what their dates are, and all of these authors have the children's tag included on their newsletter.
I love that. And so there's a lot of them out there already. But one of the things that I would say is, as someone who has a good community behind me, I would love to see my authors. I've got a couple thousand in my Facebook group, Learn to Self-Publish with April Cox. And we've got, folks on my YouTube channel that are watching this. If you're a children's book author, jump in here, sign up, and let's get together and really build some amazing cross promotions and help each other to grow, because it might not be the most well adopted or largest community of authors. But here we do see there are already people adopting it in our genre, but we can act together and get this group growing of children's authors growing that much faster and make it that much more valuable to each of us. So Evan, tell us more about where people can go to sign up for StoryOrigin, where they can reach you if they have other questions, so that we can get everybody in. Like, let's get together and start signing up for at least the free version and start getting moving with your promotions and other things as you are ready to jump in.
So the main place that you would go is storyoriginApp.com. You can see the URL in my screen shared, storyoriginApp.com. And if you have any questions, you'll see that my email address is literally at the bottom of the homepage on StoryOrigin. Or if you hit the contact page on StoryOrigin, you will see that my personal email address is right there. I say that my inbox is always open to authors for sure. So feel free to contact me, evan@storyorg.in. Yeah, that's the place to go.
I'm really happy to have you today. And I think this is opening up a lot of people's eyes as to what we can do and ways that we can use this tool to eliminate all of the other things that we're having to go into many other places to create. Put it all in one place, get a free version, go up to the $10 one, and you're going to get so much benefits for $10 a month. It's just amazing. Thank you for doing this and for providing this really amazing resource for authors who are really just trying to learn and market their books. And this tool is really giving us a real head start in that direction. Thank you again, Evan.
Sure thing. Thanks again for having me on.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.